Pujasmarapami Shri Shri Sai Baba Namaha. Om Pavitra Pavitra Hava Sarvashtatangado Viva Yasmarat Pundarikaksham Sabayavantara Suchi. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Gurudev Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Bhurbhuva Suvah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Suklam Bhararam Vishnum Sashivanam Chaturbhujam Prasada Varanam Dhyaye Sarva Vigno Pashantaye. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanadam Paramasukaram Kevalam Janamurtim Danvatitam Ganga Sardasham Tattvamasaladiksham Ekam Nityam Bimalam Archalam Sarvari Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunatitam Sadgurutam Namami Yam. Om Shri Sarata Namaha. Om Gurudev Namaha. Om Shri Sarata Namaha. Om Shri Sanata Namaha Vaharam Samarpayami. Om Shri Sanata Namaha Asanam Samarpayami. Om Shri Sanata Namaha Pajam Samarpayami. Om Shri Sanata Namaha Argyam Samarpayami. Om Shri Sanata Namaha Achinam Samarpayami. Om Shri Sanata Namaha Sannam Samarpayami. Om Shri Sanata Namaha Chandanam Samarpayami. Om Shri Sanata Namaha Akashanam Smarpayami. Om Shri Sanata Namaha Dushtanam Smarpayami. Om Shri Sanata Namaha Pushpam Smarpayami. Om Shri Sanata Namaha Dupam Samarpayami. Om Shri Sanata Namaha Deepam Samarpayami. Om Shri Sanata Namaha Navijam Samarpayami. Om Shri Sanata Namaha Jas Samarpayami. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Akandalanda Mandalakaram Viptena Chakaram Tatparam Dashtitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. The Guru creates a new life for the devotee, sustains it, and destroys all limitations. He is truly one with the Supreme Reality. To this Guru, salutations. Salutations to the great Guru who reveals that state of supreme consciousness, which permeates all of creation, both animate and inanimate. Shri Sanatana Namaha Namaskaram Samarpayami Arti Samarpayami Shri Shirdi Sai Baba Namaha. Jai Jagadish Hare Swami Shiri Sai Hare Bhaktajanam Samrakshaka Bhaktajanam Samrakshaka Shiri Maheshwara Om Jai Jagadish Hare Shivananam Sridhara Sarva Pranapataye Swami Sarva Pranapataye Ashrita Kapalatika Ashrita Kapalatika Apadbanava Om Jai Jagadish Hare Mata Pita Gurudev Mariam Tayani Swami Mariam Tayani Narada Brahma Jagannatha Narada Brahma Jagannatha Nagendra Saraya Om Jai Jagadish Hare Om Kara Rupa Hare Shiva Sai Mahadeva Shirdi Sai Mahadeva Mangala Harati Anjuka Mangala Harati Anjuka Mandara Giri Hare Om Jai Jagadish Hare Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana 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 Om Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana Narayana Om Jai Satgurudeva Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana 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 Om Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana Narayana Om Jai Satgurudeva Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana 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 Om Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana Narayana Om Jai Sadgurudeva Om Shanti 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 Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu 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 loka samasta. Sukhino bhavantu loka samasta. Sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Akhilanda Koti Brahma Dhananaka Rajadi Rajogi Rajapada Brahma Sachitananda Smatsat Guru Sri Bhagavan Shirdi Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Akhilanda Koti Brahma Dhananaka Rajadi Rajogi Rajapada Brahma Sachitananda Smatsat Guru Sri Nanda Mahima Maharaj Ki Jai. Akhilanda Koti Brahma Dhananaka Rajadi Rajogi Rajapada Brahma Sachitananda Smatsat Guru Sri Shankaracharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Paramam Pavitram Bhavibhutim Paramam Vichitram Leela Vibhutim Paramahatmaistradamaksha Pradatam Bhavibhutim Idamam Smarami Sarvabha Vibhutim Satatam Smarami Shri Sai Vibhutim Manasam Smarami Om 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 Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurvam Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Sana Bhavantu Sahano Bhunatu Sahaviryam Karvavavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavidvishavai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sai, Shri Sai, Jai Jai Sai. Om Sai. Blessed and gracious Thursday to everyone here now. Laura, Yvonne, Kat, Millie, welcome. Thank you. And we move into our weekly reading of the Sai Satcharita, the Leelas of Baba. We're getting well into this book now, as we know. Can't really put much comparison on each chapter as they each hold so much value and different little lessons. But anyways. Chapter 28. Sparrows drawn to Shirdi. Preliminary. Sai is not finite or limited. He dwells in all beings, from ants and insects to the god Brahma. He pervades all. Sai was well versed in the knowledge of the Vedas, as well as the science of self-realization. As he was proficient in both of these, he was well fitted to be the Sadguru. Anyone thought learned, but not able to awaken disciples and establish them in self-realization, does not deserve to be called a Sadguru. Generally, the worldly parents give birth to the body, but death invariably follows life. But Sadguru does away with both life and death, and so he is more kind and merciful than anybody. Sai Baba often said that, let his man, devotee, be at any distance, 1,000 miles away from him, he will be drawn to Shirdi like a sparrow with a thread tied to its feet. These chapters describe such stories. Lala Lakshmichand, This gentleman was first serving in the Sri Venkateshwar Press in Mumbai, then in the railway department, and afterwards in the firm of the Raleigh brothers in Munshi. He came in Baba's contact in 1910. 1 or 2 months before Christmas, he saw in his dream a Santa Cruz, a suburb of Mumbai, an old man with a beard, standing out surrounded by his bhaktas. A few days later, he went to the house of his friend Mr. Dattatreya Buji to hear that kirtan by Das Ganu. It was and is always the practice of Das Ganu to keep Baba's practice and picture in front of the audience while doing the kirtan. Lakshman Chand was surprised to see that the features of the old man he saw in his dream tailed exactly to with those of the picture, and thus he came to the conclusion that the old man he saw in his dream was Sai Baba himself. The sight of this picture, Das Ganu's kirtan, and the life of the Saint Turkaram of which Das Ganu discoursed, all of these things made a deep impression on his mind, and he decided to go to Shirdi. It is always the experience of the bhaktas that God always helps them in their search for the Sadguru and other spiritual endeavors. That very night, a friend named Shankarao knocked on his door and asked him whether he would accompany him to Shirdi. His joy knew no bounds, and he at once decided to go to Shirdi. He borrowed 15 rupees from his cousin, and after making due preparations, left for Shirdi. In the train, he and his friend Shankaro did some bhajan and inquired about Sai Baba with some fellow passengers, 4 Mohammedans who were returning to their place near Shirdi. They all told him that Sai Baba was a great saint living in Shirdi for many years. When they reached Kopergan, he wanted to buy some goods, guavas, and other fruits for Baba, but he was so raped in the scenery and sights there that he forgot to purchase them. When they were nearing Shirdi, he was reminded of the guavas. Just then he saw an old woman with a guava basket on her head running towards the Tonga. The Tonga was stopped, and he gladly purchased some fruits. When the woman said, "Take all the rest and offer them on my behalf to Baba," the facts that he had intended to purchase the guavas but had forgotten to do so, the other woman's encounter and her devotion to Baba. All these were a pleasant surprise to both the friends and Lakshmachan, threw in his mind that the old woman might be some relation to the old man he saw in his dream. Then they drove on and came near Shirdi, and on seeing the flags of the masjid, they saluted them. With puja materials in hand, they went to the masjid and worshipped Baba with due ritual. Lakshman Chand was much moved and was extremely happy to see Baba. He wrapped himself around Baba's feet as a bee with a sweet-smelling lotus. Then Baba spoke as follows. Cunning fellow, he does bhajans on the way and inquires from others. Why ask others? Everything we should see with our own eyes. Where is it necessary to question others? Just think for yourself whether your dream is true or not. Where was the necessity of the darshan by taking a loan from a marwali? Is the heart's desire now satisfied? Hearing those words, he was wonderstruck at Baba's omniscience. He was at loss to know how Baba came to know about all the things that happened en route from his house to Shirdi. The chief thing to note in the respect is that Baba never liked people to borrow or take loans for his darshan or celebrating any holiday or making any pilgrimage. Sanza. At noon, when Lakshman Chand was sitting for meals, he got some sanza, wheat pudding, from a devotee as prasad. He was pleased to have it. Next day, also, he expected it, but got nothing, so he was anxious to get it again. Then on the third day at noon, Arti time, Babu Shed Jog asked Baba what Navadium he should bring. Baba told him to bring sanza. Then the bhaktas brought 2 big potfuls of sanza. Lakshman Chand was very hungry, and there was some pain in his back. Then Baba said to him, "It is good that you are hungry. Take sanza and some medicine for the pain in your back." He was again wonderstruck to see that Baba again read his mind and spoke out what was passing therein. How omniscient he was. Evil eye. During this visit, Lakshmachan also witnessed one night the procession of the Javadi. Baba then suffered much from a cough. He thought that the suffering of Baba might be due to somebody's evil eye. Next morning, when he went to the masjid, Baba spoke to Shama as follows. I suffered last night from cough. Is it due to some evil eye? I think that somebody's evil eye has worked on me, and so I am suffering. In this case, Baba spoke out what was going on in the mind of Lakshmachan. On seeing these proofs of Baba's omniscience and the kindness to his bhaktas, he fell, prostrated at Baba's feet, and said, I am much blessed with your darshan. Ever be kind and merciful to me, and protect me always. There is no other God to me in this world except you. Let my mind ever be wrapped around your bhajan and feet. Let your grace protect me from my miseries and the world, and let me ever chant your name and be happy. After getting Baba's udi and blessing, he returned home with his friend, much pleased and contented, and was singing Baba's glory on the way. He remained a staunch devotee of Baba. Then onwards and always he sent garlands of flowers, camphor, and dakshina with any person of his acquaintance to Shirdi. Burpopont Lady. Now let us turn to another sparrow, a devotee. One lady in Burpon saw in her dream Sai Baba coming to her door and begging for khichdi. On waking up, she saw nobody at her door. However, she was pleased with the vision and told it to all, including her husband. He was employed in the postal department, and when he was transferred to Akola, both husband and wife were devout persons decided to go to Shirdi. Then, on a suitable day, they left for Shirdi, and after visiting Gomati Tirth on the way, reached Shirdi and stayed there for 2 months. Every day they went to the masjid, worshiped Baba, and passed their time happily. The couple came to Shirdi to offer khichdi as nivedium, but for the first 14 days, somehow or other, it could not be offered. The lady did not like this delay or tardiness. Then on the 15th day, she came at noon to the masjid with her khichdi. There, she found that Baba and others were already sitting for meals and that the curtain was down. Nobody dared enter when the curtain was down, but the lady could not wait. She lifted up the curtain and entered. Strange to say that Baba seemed that day hungry for khichdi and wanted that first thing. And when the lady came in with the dish, Baba was delighted and began to eat morsel after morsel. On seeing the earnest of Baba in this respect, everybody was wonderstruck, and those who had heard the story of khichdi were convinced about his extraordinary love for his devotees. Mangha. Now let us go to the third sparrow. Mangha of Virgamon was a simple and illiterate Brahmin cook. He was a devotee of Shiva and always chanted the 5-syllable mantras, Namah Shivaya. He did not know the sadhana nor its chief mantra, the Gayatri. Sat was interested in him, taught him the sadhana and the Gayatri. Sat told him that Sai Baba of Shirdi was the embodiment form of the god of Shiva and made him start for Shirdi. At the railway station, he learnt that Sai Baba was a Muslim, and his simple and orthodox mind was much perturbed at the prospect of bowing down to a Muslim, and he prayed to his master not to send him there. His master, however, insisted on his going there and gave him a letter of introduction to his father-in-law, Ganesh Damdor, alias Dada Kalkar. The introduction to him is to Shirdi's Baba. When he reached Shirdi and went to the masjid, Baba was very indignant and would not allow him to enter. Kick out the rascal, roared Baba, and then said to Mangha, You are a high caste Brahmin, and I am a low Muslim. You will lose your caste by coming here. Just get away. On hearing these words, Manga began to tremble. He was wondering as how Baba had to come to know about what was passing in his mind. He stayed there for some days serving Baba in his own way, but was not convinced. Then he went home and then to the Triumph that stayed there the next year and a half. Then again he returned to Shirdi. This time, at the intersection of Dadakalkar, he was allowed to enter the masjid and stay in Shirdi. Sai Baba helped to Mangha was through an oral instruction. He worked up Manga internally, mentally, with the results that he was considerably changed or benefited. Then Manga began to look upon Sai Baba as an incarnation of Shiva. In order to worship Shiva, Bale leaves are required, and Manga used to go miles and miles every day to bring them to worship his Shiva. His practice was to worship all the deities in the village and then come to the masjid. And after saluting Baba Gadi, he worshipped Baba, and after doing some service, drank the washings of Baba's feet. Once it so happened that he came to the masjid without worshipping Kanoba. As the door of the temple was closed, Baba did not accept his worship and sent him back again, saying that the door was open. Mangha went, found the door open, worshipped the deity, and then returned to Baba as usual. The Ganges bath. On one Sankrani day, Manga wanted to besmear the body of Baba with sandal paste and bathe him in the Ganges water. Baba first unwillingly to go this, but his repeated request he consented. Manga had to traverse a distance of 8 kos, going and returning, to bring the sacred water from the Godavari river. He brought the water, made all the preparations for the bath at noon, and asked Baba to get ready for the same. Then Baba asked him to be spared from this bath, saying that a fakir, he had nothing to do with the Ganges water, but Banga did not listen to him. He knew that Shiva is pleased with Abhishek, the sacred bath, on this auspicious day. Baba then consecrated, came down, and sat on a wooden board and projected his head, said, "O Manga, do at least this favor. Head is the most important organ of the body, so pour the water over that only. It is equivalent to the whole bath." "All right," said Manga, and lifting the water pot and began to pour it on the head. But in doing so, this was so much overwhelmed with love that he cried out, "Hari Hari Gange, hail goddess Ganga," and emptied the pot of the whole body. He kept the pot aside and began to look at Baba, but to his surprise and amazement, he found that only Baba's head was drenched, while the body was quite dry. The trident and the pindi. Manga worshipped Baba at 2 places. In the masjid, he worshipped Baba in person, and in the wada, Baba's big picture, given by Nanushab Chankur. This he did for 12 months. Then, in order to appreciate his devotion and confirm his faith in Baba, gave him a vision. One morning, when Manga was still lying down on his bed with eyes closed but internally awake, he saw clearly Baba's form. Baba, knowing him to be awake, threw akshta, rice grains marked red with kumkum, and said, "Mengha, draw a trident," and disappeared. Hearing Baba's words, he eagerly opened his eyes, saw no Baba there, but only rice grains spread here and there. He then went to Baba, told him about the vision, and asked permission to draw a trident. Baba said, "Did you not hear my words asking you to draw a trident? It was no vision, but direct order. My words are always pregnant with a meaning and never hollow." Manga said, "I thought you woke me up, but all the doors were closed, so I was doubtful and thought it to be a vision." Baba rejoined, "I require no door to enter. I have no form. I always live everywhere. As a wire puller, I carry on all the actions of the man who trusts me and merges in me." Manga returned to the wada and drew a red trident on the wall near Baba's picture. Next day, at Ramadasi, Bhakta came from Pune, saluted Baba, and offered him a pindi, a phallic image of Shiva. At this time, Manga also turned up there. Baba said to him, "See, Shankar has come. Protect him now." Manga was pleasantly surprised to see Pindi. Also in the wada, Kakasheb Dixit was standing with a towel on his head after having taken his bath, and was remembering Sai when he saw Pindi in his mental vision. While he was wondering about this, Manga came and showed him the pindi presented to him by Baba. Dixit was happy to know that this pindi exactly tailed with the one he saw in few minutes before in his vision. In a few days after the drawing of the trident was complete, Baba installed the pindi near the big picture, which Manga was worshipping. The worship of Shiva was dear to Manga, and by drawing of the trident and the installation of the pindi, Baba confirmed his faith therein. After continuous service to Baba for many years, doing regular worship and Arti every noon and every evening, Manga passed away in 1912. Then Baba passed his hands over his mortal remains and said, "This was a true devotee of mine." Baba also ordered that his own expense, the funeral dinner should be given to the Brahmins, and this order was carried out by Kakasheb Dixit. Bow to Sri Sai. Om Sai, Sri Sai, Jai Jai Sai.
She said, JJ said.
Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru, Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru, Jaya Gurudev. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Gurudev. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Gurudev. Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru, Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru, Jaya Gurudev. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Gurudev. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Gurudev. Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru, Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru, Jaya Gurudev. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Gurudev. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Gurudev. Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru, Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru, Jaya Gurudev. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Gurudev. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Gurudev. Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru, Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru, Jaya Gurudev. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Gurudev. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Gurudev. Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru, Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru, Jaya Gurudev. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Gurudev. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Gurudev. Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru, Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru, Jaya Gurudev. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Gurudev. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Gurudev. Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru, Jaya 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 Gurudev. Om. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Jai Guru.
Happy Guru Rav. Happy Thursday, Guru Day. Peace and blessings to all that are here now. Thanks for joining us, Victor. Welcome. May we remember on Thursday our holy preceptor, our spiritual guide, God, the being that has so graciously guided us into this position of now, that has brought us all here together now, that continues to reveal each moment into the next moment through what we call synchronicities or auspiciousness. All things already written as to be true. And as Baba said in the story, for those that surrender to me, I walked with thee. What's that right here? Let me say that again. Hard to find. So as we come into this understanding that Baba is the wire puller, that as the great beings or God or this quantum energy is the energy that guides and brings us into fruition. We're about 4.5 days past the new moon. This calm, subtle energy of stepping and solidifying into this energy has passed. So now we're completely structured now in this lunation cycle, holding our intention centered as the goal, as the aim, as our focus for these next week and a half as we continue to build this energy. May we trust in the community, trust in the Sangha, and trust in the guidance of the great ones before us. May all here have a blessed and holy Thursday. May you feel the grace of Baba always. Back. Om Namah Shivaya, Hrim Namah Shivaya, Hrim Om Gam Ganapataye Namah, Om Hum Hanumatye Namah, Om Sai Shri Sai Jai Jai Sai, Om Shrim Hrim Klim Chamunde Jai, Om Shri Ma Jai Ma, Om Om Om.